let's do this. This video is about the markets and my strat. Probably seen this strat before. That's because it works. Like, fuck it. These are my trades. Alright, let's do it. So, let me clear this. We'll just work with NAS. Bring it to the hourly. I'll mark out yesterday's open. Is that it? Yeah. Thank you. Mark out yesterday's open. Open before that. I'll just look at a couple different circumstances. Monday. Don't know if Monday was any good. Friday. Alright. Whatever, this will work. So yesterday, sorry. Let's see. Open is here. We're on the 15-minute. Okay, my strategy, what I look for is there's a couple different confluences. Mainly LQ sweep, liquidity sweep. Liquidity sweep, and then either inverse fair value gap filled, then fair value gap filled, and then a BOS breaker structure in there. Pretty basic, but it's all different. It's not basic actually, because it all changes different time frames and overall bias. Like, I want this. This should all maybe respect the overall bias. It depends. It's hard. It's like we rock up yesterday, bearish bias on the hourly, pretty solid bearish, like pretty bearish, as you can see by here. And then, but 4 hour, pretty bullish. So these hourly bearish candles are probably a retracement off of, yeah, they're just a retracement bearish, right? Markets are pretty basic like that. Bring it back down. So I'm looking for some kind of sweep. Now looking at the hourly here, there's like a fake sweep of liquidity happening straight off the bat. Price comes like as session is opening. So, but you see why I say it's a fake sweep of liquidity? Because look at this. There's no turning point here. There's no specific point. Look, it's just that is all just the same liquidity. Like, there's no reason for it to turn specifically there. But that's how it be. So that's happened. And it swept here, and I'm like, oh, it's just faking out. It'll come bearish soon. But it doesn't really. It keeps going bullish, and that's fine. Because straight away, we have this bearish fair value gap here, right? And it's bearish because it's bearish. Like, the imbalance made was on the downward move. If you guys don't know about like liquidity sweeps and fair value gaps and stuff, I might make a video on it maybe for you guys, but there's a bunch already out there, so I don't know. But initially, this bearish fair value gap is respected really well. Really well. It taps equilibrium, closes down here, and on the first 5-minute close bearish, I actually got in like here after it retraced a bit with my stop loss somewhere here, and then I was aiming at this lower liquidity here. So it did hit for 1 to 2, but like, and that's the crazy thing about this, like, liquidity and trading off of liquidity and imbalances. this, I traded against the trend and it still worked because I knew where to target these lows, this liquidity here. Yeah, see, look, this low here. Knew where to target, perfectly taps that. And because I've seen it's respected this fair value gap, which, like, probability wise, it will go bearish for some amount after closing on the bottom side of the fair value gap. It's just respected. It will go bearish for some amount. And if you traded every single fair value gap and inverse fair value gap, knowing how to call, knowing how to know if they were respected or inversed, then you would honestly make a lot of money. And if you, and trading the probabilities like that, you would make money still. It's just, imbalances and liquidity just work so good. So that happens. And then, so there's just the top half of the fair value gap left, pretty much. I don't move it in session, but whatever. Yeah, that's not. And then price taps this tiny liquidity here. Don't even count that as liquidity. That's just a take profit point because it's a tiny turn. Don't even count that as liquidity. The actual liquidity here would be down below, like a proper one. But yeah, whatever. That's just stuff you just learn from market experience and just learning from what you see in the markets when stuff occurs. Like, yeah. So then price actually inverses this fair value gap really well. The top half of it. Like, some people would consider this done because it's been respected, but there's still like imbalance all the way up here to like midway through here. So that's got to get hit. But so it inverses it really well, and I know it's an inverse because it's a strong movement. Like, it's been like even one 2-minute candle. It's been like one 5-minute or a couple 5-minute candles that just pump through. Like, for this bearish fair value gap, it is now a bullish inverse fair value gap, right? Because it's inversed. If you don't know about inverse fair value gaps, go just check out a video on them. And I know it's been inversed because one candle has just pumped through. Like, I would still call stuff inverses even if it's multiple candles, as long as there's not much retracement. Like, if I had something over here, even though it's multiple candles inversing, like let's say price is fucking fair value gap there, if there's multiple candles pushing through, I would still say it's inverse just because the candles are not bearish, they're just strong. That's not a good example because it turns right after, but that's because it's not an actual inverse. But just looking at the actual just candles straight up, right? So there's that. So it's inversed. So price is looking really good for bullish movement. And then there was these highs I had. It didn't really matter. Whatever. That's way later in the day. I only trade till like not even 9, 8. But actually, this strategy works throughout, so it's all good. So it's inversed, which is really good for longs. And price taps this little top side stuff, so a little retracement off that. That makes sense because it has just taken all this liquidity here. This liquidity's got smacked and little retracement. That's fine. And even better is price, while inversing this fair value gap, made another fair value gap, right? And that's what happens a lot of the time. Like, that happens a lot. I'll find another circumstance where that has happened. Like here, like, look at this shit. It's beautiful. Like, this has been inversed really well. And on the way up, this is during New York. Yeah. And then on the way up, actually, let's go to the 15-minute because the 15-minute holds more validity for this. Then on the way up, makes a 15-minute fair value gap there. And let's see how that gets respected. Boom. Perfect respect into a nice bullish movement up to this top liquidity. Like, that's just picture perfect. Like, that's just, it just works. Like, you see? So, bearish movement, inversed it strong. So that's good signs for bullish movement to come. And then it has created a fair value gap on the way up, which is nice. That just happens. And then price wicks through the bottom. First candle closing out. That's nice. That's how it is. Normally I get in off of fair value gaps once equilibrium has been hit, and then I get in on the first close of a 5-minute candle out of the fair value gap, depending on the time frame of the fair value gap. But normally, yeah, it has to be 5-minute or above. 15 works even better. But see here, fair value gap, it gets hit this equilibrium straight away on the first candle in, but no entry because it hasn't come bullish out yet, right? And then comes again, comes lower, taps fully, wicks it fully. A wick is good confirmation that the fair value gap has been respected, or is being respected. So the wick is formed, and then it closes. Does that close out? Yeah, closes out. That's real nice shit there. And then on the first close out, I would just hop in and have stop loss even below, below where it goes. And then I'd just shoot for this close liquidity here probably. Like that's a 1.7 right there. And if you wanted to hold it longer, you could. But this is late already coming into New York, so whatever, that's that one. Alright, the other day, looking at this is Tuesday, yeah. Tuesday, a bit of bullish movement, but it is coming up on that liquidity right there. And that's good topside shit, right? That's even more topside there. I think I talked about this one. How long has this been running? 12 minutes, frack. So, this topside liquidity, right? So it's bullish. Yeah, it's bullish on the hourly, but I'm like, oh, it'll turn because it's coming to prominent liquidity. And that it does. Sweeps. Respects this fair value gap a little bit. And see, look, this is what I'm saying. We're in a full bearish trend, and price, because it respects this, we're in a bearish trend, right? And because it respects this bearish, this bullish fair value gap, like, because it respects it, it moves a bit bullish. Like, it will move bullish a bit. Like, you'd have to have it tight to make any money on it, but fuck. It does move bullish. And then this gets inversed really well. And then on the way down, that gets inversed well. On the way down, massive liquidity everywhere. This is higher time frame stuff, like way higher time frame. So forget that. We will try and enter on London. So let's look for that. So we're on the 5 here. So grabs liquidity. The tiny inverse. There's no... Oh, there's a tiny one. Doesn't even count. Barely. So that's there, obviously. Yeah, what the fuck? That's fucking minuscule. But let's just say it gets invalidated, because it kind of does. But this is a good sweep. And then... this session, there's no... You just have to go off breaker structure on this. There's no actual... It's a bit slow. Oh, I think for this session, because it was very slow, I have to drop down to these lower time frames And even then, like, look at this, just chomp, just fucking wicking everywhere. Not many opportunities. That'd be a day you just don't trade, like whatever. And then, okay, so this day. So this is Monday. Some lows here. This is what I would be looking at. Some lows, blah, blah, blah. Monday was chop work. Monday was news or something. Yeah, this, I didn't trade this. That's just horrible. So let's go to Friday. Friday, hourly, a little bit bearish. Top side here. See, I'm kind of on the higher time frames too much. London, New York is very much 15-minute and 30-minute and hourly done. But London, I just use hourly and 4 hourly for buys, and that's it. That's it, full stop. And then it drops down to all these lower ones. And cause it, okay, bro. Where am I at? Friday. Yeah, and because it's so dead, you can still easily get trades on this, but because it's looking dead on the 15, I have to drop down to the 5. And that's fine, because this shit still works. Like this tiny high here, it gets touched barely. I mean, this was the previous high, so that gets swept. And then, like, this is on like 1 minute, 2 minute type stuff. Yeah, gets swept. There's like a little breaker structure here, which is good. And then it returns to this fair value gap, which it doesn't look like it respects here, but it does. And this is confusing and this sucks. But it's because it's 1 minute. Like on the 5 or 2 minute, it wicks that perfectly. And that's just annoying. Yeah, like. And then you get in on the first candle breaking out. Even if you wanted to wait for the breaker structure here, it would still work well. Breaker structure, get in on this candle. Fair value gap, like. You put your stop loss, yeah, above the fair value gap. And then you'd shoot for these lows down here. Or those lows, actually. Yeah, see, this is really scaled down on a very small time frame because looking at it, it's such a dead day. But that's how it works for London sometimes. And honestly, I kind of like it like that. It's like pretty good. It works well. But yeah, that's that day. That kind of sucks. Let me delete that. So this is chilling here. Hourly, bullish, solid bullish day. There's a gap down here, so that's potentially, price potentially wants to fill that, right? But as session opens, come down to the 15 minute. As session opens, this liquidity has already been hit, and the fair value gap made on the way up has been respected. So it's like, it's finna keep going bullish. And that's really good to see. Okay. Yeah, so the bullish fair value gap gets respected. This is right off of open, fucking straight away. Sweeps this liquidity, retracement, of course, because it's just swept liquidity. Bullish fair value gap. This would be the determiner if price is gonna go bullish or come bearish, right? If it gets inversed, like strongly, by like 1 15-minute or a couple 5-minute candles, if it gets inversed like that, then we're looking for bears, bearish movement, legs down all the way down to fucking this bottom liquidity, right? Doesn't happen, which is nice. So price comes up. Yeah, it fills this imbalance here really well. Like, yeah, this is classic. Easy entries on the first candle breaking out here. And then you'd shoot for, I don't even know. What'd you even shoot for here? Them highs? But they get hit like midnight, fuck that. What did I shoot for on this day? What happened on this day? Friday last week. What was I doing? Shit. I can't remember. Damn! But yeah. Okay, so overall with this strat, I mean, I say liquidity sweep happens first, but yesterday, I talked about this. There was no liquidity sweep at all and my position still worked. It was just off of the fair value gap, which is liquidity, but it's an imbalance, so it's like a bit different, but not really. But it's because price already swept all the equal lows below before. That's another thing you'll learn from just market experience. But anyways, checking yesterday. See, yesterday, I said, price just respected this fair value gap. It's this one. This 15-minute fair value gap got respected because this 5-minute candle broke below and closed out of it while also breaking structure bearish, which is like W. And then it retraced a bunch. Like yesterday was chop also. It retraced a bunch, but we can still make it work with this strat because this shit is just so good. If you just stick to your strat, it'll work. And my strat's on, baby. Like, so basic, so good. Fucking love it. And then, so respects it. Then I get in. Yeah, I get in here on this bearish candle coming down. Actually, no, on this bullish candle retracing up. This is on the minute. It looks like chop work, but I don't know. Market experience, you can learn it as you watch. And then, so it does that. I give it some time. It comes. It hits this bottom liquidity here, where I have my TP at. And then it hits that well and turns. See, look at that. Again, even in like an uptrend, the position still works. Like it's fucked. So yeah, that wasn't an amazing explanation. I'm sure you have a bunch of questions, but mainly the strat is work off of and around fair value gaps and sweeps. Pretty much, and then there's a bunch of other shit like mingled in there from market experience. But if you have any other questions, let me know in the comments, and you will have other questions obviously. But yeah.